greened up. Wow, sure beats San Diego. They don't know what they're doing. Welcome to PowerCon 2012! We are so excited for the 30th anniversary of Thundercats. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Masters of the Universe! So excited. We love Thundercats too, but we're all here for Masters. This is the big one. It's the 30th anniversary. We got some really big news, especially some really huge announcements to make at the end of the panel. Probably one of the biggest announcements we've ever made for the Classics line. Yeah. For those of you hanging out online last night, without further yes, and Deadpool disguise Spectre. Comes a little X-Men content. Is anyone else waiting outside? Are we ready to go? Anyone? Danielle, are we good? All right, rock and roll. All right, let's jump in. We're going to kind of just do a brief recap. Some of these slides are the same you saw in San Diego, for those of you who were there, but just kind of to get everyone on the same playing field of what's going on, what's coming out, and then we'll get to some new stuff. All right, PowerCon 2012. Yeah! All right, so first let's just recap what's coming out. All right, Frost is coming out next month. Doesn't include that shield. All right, let's address the elephant in the room. What's going on with those arms? The glove issue on her. All right, the glove. See, some people don't even know. There was an issue that it looked like we weren't quite sure whether or not her gloves were swapped on the arms. So we basically got a ton of samples and we went through them at detail, at nauseam. It did turn out the Mattel direction sample that we sent to the plant was correct. So this wasn't like Robato's shoulders where Mattel had Roboto sitting on our desks for a month. Unfortunately, the vendor did misassemble the majority of them. It's beyond our control. It stinks when this kind of thing happens, but we went to management, we said we need a solution to this. We reviewed, our options were really limited because this line is run so low. What they're going to allow us to do, subholders can return their Frosta for a full refund if you want. Normally we don't allow that, but because we know this going in, we're going to make that rule. There's going to be no new production. We did look into that, but the delay was like a year and the cost was ridiculous. So there's no replacement stock. So if you get a Frosta that the gloves aren't right, it's not like you can return it for another one. But we are going to make a little free gift for subholders because of this. Because this kind of stuff shouldn't be happening. Honestly, this one was out of our control. It's human error. I mean, the arms look so similar and the vendor made a mistake. These things happen. So we're going to look into something kind of similar to what we did Ghostbusters with that free Slimer. We're not ready to announce what it is, but there's going to be something we do want to make this up to subscribers. All right, so so Frostas, that's kind of what's going on with it. All right, back to happy news. Ratlet. He will come with that sticker sheet with the Great Rebellion. That's only going to be for subscribers. So if you're a day of purchaser, you are not going to be getting the sticker sheet.
Does it come with a rattle like I put in the
Yes, yep. It does have a rattle in the tail. I should introduce the panel here. This is Martin Ariola, who worked for 30 years, worked on the business line. And of course, Eric from the Four Horsemen. I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Scott Knightlick. And here comes Frank Corella, packaging designer extraordinaire. All right. I don't know if he's in the room. Terry, are you here? But this is.
I told him to come up. Where's Terry?
Where's Terry?
Terry Agucci.
Terry Agucci, ladies and gentlemen. So that's Terry's contribution to the 30th anniversary line. All right, then we got the weapons pack coming out in October. Now, who's gotten their free accessory gift? What do you guys think? Cool? Yeah, so what this is the non-splitting Keldor sword that we're giving away to the first 1,000 people with tickets. The version that comes in the weapons pack will split into two halves. So it's essentially the same sculpt, but it's tooled in two different ways. So, if you didn't get this one, you'll still get the weapons pack, it'll split. But for those of you at PowerCon, and maybe a few other small events we do this year, you'll be able to get this exclusive Keldor bonded sword. So pretty cool. All right. In November, We've got Decker coming out with both heads, the young and the old version. You see him in our case. Also in November, as revealed at Comic-Con, we've got the Filmation base. Then we've got our fan contest. We thought we'd show off some of those runners-up again that we showed at Comic-Con. First, there was Rajar by Emily Lapidus. I think I got the names correct this time. I mixed them up in San Diego. Three Beasts by Josh Howard. Bublor by Jim Johnson. Major Heather. I know a couple of you guys were here. You should stand up when I call you. Anyone, any of those guys in the room? Who's here? Three Bs. And then, of course, our big winner of the contest, Castle Grayskull. Daniel here? No, I know he's at PowerCon. Well, congratulate him if you see him. So his figure's in the case. The hair is a little less golden than you see here. The final version is in the case. It's a little bit more green and white, less Spicoli looking. So there he is, Castle Grayskull Man. He's the big winner of the 30th anniversary Create a Character Contest. Another round of applause for Daniel Benedict. All right, coming in December.
What's that?
It's delayed, we'll arrive in March.
Next up, we have the Princess. A non-sub item, so the Temple of Darkness Sorceress, if you miss out on her here or at New York Comic-Con, any remaining stock, although it's looking like we're selling out really fast, so I don't know if there'll be remaining stock, but if there is, you'll be able to get her on Matty Collector in December, same version sold at the shows. Close to final Grandineer in the case. He's now made of plastic, not resin, so you can see how the articulation works. He's huge! This guy is the biggest Master Universe Classics figure we've ever done, at least to date. Alright, 2013, the year you guys made happen. So a refresh. So you're going to get 12 monthly figures if you're a subscriber, at 25 each or 27 for day of. Now there will be some figures that may not be available day of. We're still working out the quotas, but on the sub you are getting all 12. There will be 4 quarterly items. These could be variants or oversized, meaning larger figures or multi-packs. One's at $25 or 27 day of. One will be 30 or 33, that one is Ram Man that we revealed. One is 50 or 55 day of. And one is 75 or 81 day of, and that's the Fighting Foeman that we revealed. There'll be one club exclusive figure, which is good for that, was the sign-up fee of 25 for those. Who's a sub holder here? How many people? Oh, all right, that's why we're doing the line. We got our map. The club is not going to include convention items, like Temple of Darkness Sorceress there, potential vehicles, potential weapon packs, or other standalone items. So those will be outside the sub. But we are going to allow subholders to have early access for the first time ever at those non-sub items, and we're trying to find a way to combine shipping. We're still working on that, but at least you'll get early access. All right, January 13, as you'll see in our case already, is Natasa. She was based a little bit more on her Filmation look. Eric, anything you wanted to add? I know there were a lot of thoughts about, why we didn't do her helmet, like why we went with this look.
We talked about it a little bit on Roast Google. A lot of it ended up being budget, unfortunately.
It's always budget.
Yeah, that was, because originally we had talked about doing the second headdress, for other accessories, and really it just ended up getting cut, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it was because of her cape, her net, because of the material.
Right.
It had to be in its own separate tool.
Right.
So that really added the
And it's a
cost.
really large
Yeah.
piece. So.
Yeah. Did I get that right? Okay. Whose cell phone's going off? All right, the big guy, Ram Man. So he will come with 2 different alternate heads, and I mean, yeah, he is massive. You'll see him in our case. He's got the width of 2 figures, I think, and he weighs as much as almost like he's a paperweight. he'll definitely hold your book down. February 13. The man with the golden arm. Now, you can't see it here, but he does have 2 short, what are they called, Professor? The weapons? Commas? Not periods? Commas, and he has a long sword. Katana?
Right.
All right, I know a little bit of sword play. All right, so he's got 3 blades, 2 of which attached to the back. There's been a lot of questions about his metal, or gold hand, if you will. It's not that metal, nor does it articulate, so he cannot hold a weapon in that hand. But just like, same kind of with Fisto, or just like the vintage thing. So, just to clear that up, since people were asking, that's not articulated there. All right, March 13. We've got our next big Filmation date. Any words on something you want to talk about in his accessories? Eric?
Well, I don't even know what you call the thing, but that energy rod weapon was from one of the original concept drawings in Filmation, which we just couldn't come up with a great accessory with him. I mean, we saw that and thought that was just a really cool piece to put with him. As far as I was concerned, he didn't really need any accessories at all. I think Fangman's the coolest. So. But yeah, so it's kind of fun always going back through the archives and trying to find some old items like that or things to plus up the figures a little bit.
And his tongue is articulated, if I'm right. Yeah, it goes back and forth. So his jaw is not, his tongue does go back and forth. All right, the subscription figure, if you are a sub holder.
Oh yeah.
King He-Man. Back for one last battle, ripping his electronic power sword out of retirement, because someone else seems to have the power of the Grayskull sword at this point in the story. And a little that's revealed because we've got a brand new logo sticker designed by Mr. Varela there. The new team sticker for King He-Man.
Yeah!
So we're getting some new factions in the line. The map is going to be of Subturnia. There you see Procrustes in the center, with all the Caligar Kingdom and the Spalian Fiefdom and the Temple of Serpos down there. A lot of cool stuff happening under the horizon. There'll be an exclusive mini comic only with King He-Man. It's the only one we're doing for 13. It's produced by DC because they're our new comic partner, but it'll be in the same style and format as the 2012 Dark Horse. Even the title page is the same. We copied the same format. It's just the logo that'll change. The State of Creative team is the 3 2012 mini comics. There's the cover for you. The origin of Skeletor at last revealed. More information than you've ever known. There was more the origin of Keldor, I guess you could say. Goes back a bit further. There's definitely a lot of new information in this comic. It's not just a retelling of episode 32, The Price of Deceit, I'll tell you that. But panels based on that episode do appear. All right, Q2 2013, we have our next quarterly item. Actually inspired by a model maker here in California. Eric, you want to talk a little bit about the names and how the logos swap there?
Yeah, so the names, those are named after 3 of the 4 horsemen stable, I guess you could say. Sherry and Shane and Owen. So they're all plays on their names, given a Masters of the Universe style makeover. And the chess emblems, each one has, because once we get into the bio portion of it, they were one-time Horde members. So they each have a Horde chest plate, and then the chest plate that represents the vehicle that they drive. And then the weapons also were all inspired by...
Actually, it's the opposite.
Oh, is it the opposite?
And then the decayed Horde.
Okay.
Just so we don't...
Yeah, we don't...
Otherwise, it's going to be a fiasco.
But design-wise, the weapons also were inspired directly from the vehicles that each one of the characters pilots.
Yeah, so these are based on the original model kit drivers from the 80s, so 3 of them. And fans have been asking, did you ever do those figures? And we found a clever way of doing it. So there you go. Fighting Foemen. Yeah, you'll learn more about them in their bios. And I think we even snuck one of them into the first video. All right, then we had a fan's choice slot that we announced at Comic-Con where everyone who bought a sub was allowed to vote for the character they wanted. They could vote between Crash Landing Marlena, Cloak and Dagger Evelyn, Geldor, Mini-Comic Trapjaw Lumina, Songster, Camo Khan, and Mask of Power Demon. And the big winner has been announced is Geldor. So Geldor is going to ship probably November 2013, give or take a month. Still locking things down. It should be the monthly sub figure that month. So pretty cool to have another mini comic. I think we're kind of starting to spec out too, which accessories he comes with and how we're going to do them.
Yeah, not early stages.
Yeah, early stages of that. So yeah, definitely have to have the Liquid of Life flask or something in there.
That could happen.
Could happen. Possible. All right, what's next? Our traveling 2012 con. Oh, actually, that should be 13. Wrong date there. All right, I just caused date gate. Another fiasco. Everything's a fiasco. All right, Strobo. So Strobo comes with. And he comes with an alternate head for Zodak. That if you bought a Zodak, which actually went on sale again this month, and already sold out, you could pop that head on. Now you have the maskless one. We've been trying to find a way to get this head out for years. So he will be our traveling convention figure in 2013, despite what it says on the screen. And we'll be at shows like, hopefully, PowerCon in New York. We don't know what shows we're going to next year yet, but whichever ones those are, we're trying to have them ready as early in the year as possible so that we can support whatever international or local or whatever shows happen. All right, so go to PowerCon next year. Hopefully, you'll get a stroke. All right, April 2013. Face, I think my personal favorite Snake Man, just because he was the only one I had when I was a kid. I think I never had any of the others. So he will come, I hope I'm getting this all right. So he's got 2 heads, he's got the staff, the shield, and then the 2 little armor pieces on the chest. You can unplug those and then plug in those 2 green snakes that you see in the picture on the right. So did I get all that right? Yeah? Okay, wow, I think so. Hopefully everything you see in this picture is included. This figure is still in development, but it looks good to go. Worst case is we may have to delete the staff, but we're hoping that won't happen. We don't want to delete deco, but he's got a lot of deco. So we'll if there's any changes, we'll update you. But he definitely has both heads. Yeah, it was definitely more important to get both heads than if something had to go, it was going to be the staff, but we don't even know that yet. All right. May 2013.
Wow.
What's quickly around the office, I think being called the Predator of the Space Warrior with dreadlocks. There's Karate, one of the space mutants from New Adventures. He'll be joining Optic and Slashhead to battle Carius and anyone else who can help out in the future. He comes with his gun and his knife, just like the vintage figure. and I think of the faceplate or the hat or something. Maybe making that up?
Making it up.
I'm making it up. Okay. Sometimes you can't tell because pieces like break off. You're like, is this an accessory or is this include something? All right, June 2013. I guess jumping up and down.
Yeah!
Some more Filmation goodness and some POP at that. So here's probably one of the coolest, what we call silhouettes in the line, Octavia, who is just massive with those tentacles. And what we made sure we're doing, because each tentacle is unique, we're going to make sure they're customer assembly so there's no mess up in which tentacle gets plugged in where. So you'll get the tentacles, but you'll have to plug them in yourself in the package. So that way you know the tentacles won't be reversed, because there's so many of them. And they're all like just a little bit different, so we didn't want to risk anything where they might get assembled wrong. And she does come with 4 of the same sword and the Horde crossbow, but now with little like tentacle Cthulhu kind of. Cthulhu. My Lovecraft isn't as up as it should be. All right. What is that? Oh, and somehow I think her left arm didn't make it to the show, so if you see her on display and she's missing her left arm, it's only because somehow it wasn't in the bag. Yeah, we'll talk. I was trying to say. All right. We have a New York Comic Con art show coming up. October 10th through 24th at Toy Tokyo, New York, benefiting the Ronald McDonald House of New York. We're going to have a 30th anniversary art show. So there's going to be 20 new pieces of art from the 30th anniversary on display and for sale. Some of this art you may have seen already, some of it's going to be brand new. All the proceeds are going to go to the Ronald McDonald House in New York. The first 500 visitors on opening night will get a free print. And the Temple of Darkness Sorceress will also be available here that night for $22, 24 hours before she goes on sale at New York Comic Con. Same one you guys are all getting at this show, same one in New York, but there's going to be a small limited quota available at Toy Tokyo at the art opening night, which will be October 10th. That's a Wednesday. And it will run for the next 2 weeks. And all the benefits, anything you buy there is going to go directly to Ronald McDonald House. So it'll be a great time. I'll be there. Of course, I'll be there. Come on down to Tokyo. Support our new grand art shows and toy movements. All right, the big announcement. Now, I don't know why people thought the big announcement was going to be that the line was being canceled. Because I did that last night, and people were saying, okay, it's one of 3 things. It's either like a play set, the movie, or the line is being canceled. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to hype all this excitement. Yeah. All right. So, the movie, no, definitely that's in Sony's camp. So we don't have anything to announce about a movie. But we're going to try something a little wild and crazy that we've never done before. I can't believe we actually got management on board. We're going to try, and I'm emphasizing the word try, to do the Castle Grayskull. Let me explain. That the Castle Grayskull Experiment is the name of an 80s rock band that was removed. Alright, this is what we're going to try to do, because basically, it's really difficult to do something like this. Just to get the resources to sculpt or to tool is really difficult because you're talking a lot. So we can't get that. But we went to management to explore any kind of option we could possibly have. And what we agreed on is if we don't even sculpt it, and we do a pre-order that's just based on announcing it and a visual, that we were going to try to do the pre-order fall 2012. If we meet a minimum quota, and we'll have a meter, just like we do with the hoverboard or with the subscriptions, we're going to try to deliver it fall of 13, so Christmas 13. Due to the huge amount of design work, we don't have the resources to even build a looks-like model or to a sculpt or anything. So we're going to show a B-sheet. We're going to premiere a B-sheet at New York Comic Con in 3 weeks of approximately what it's going to look like, or at least the direction we're going in. Approximately a $200 price tag. Again, none of this is final. It could wind up being a little more, but we should be able to lock in at least an approximate price by the time we start the pre-sale, probably right after New York Comic Con, so a month from now. The full details in B-Sheet will be revealed. So now you won't be charged during the pre-sale, but your credit card will be authorized, and we need the minimum number of customers just to even move forward. If we do get the minimum, the next step is to sculpt something so that we can show a sculpt at New York Toy Fair in February of 13. So that's the plan. If we can get enough pre-orders off of the B-Sheet only, then we'll sculpt it and go forward from there. So it's really in your hands. Now what are we looking at for this? What Castle Grayskull and Classics? Obviously there's been a lot of Castle Grayskulls over the years. There's been animated, there's been models, there's been different comic book renditions, our Comic-Con version. Someone even built a snow Castle Grayskull. So we thought we'd do the snow one. Really where we decided we'd focus our efforts is looking at the original market. So imagine this, only bigger. So this is in scale to what, like a 5-inch figure was the original He-Man, and the Classics is about 6.5. So, plus it up that much. We don't know if we're talking about everything in this image. We're not saying this is what you're getting, but this is the influence. Specifically looking at things like the minaret, the ledge, the playmat, the elongated mouthpiece. All those things that fans know, especially because this was the castle that showed up in a lot of media, showed up in the mini-comics. It even was used in a licensing kit for years, had that little ledge on it that wasn't in the toy. So we know this is a version of the castle people have really been looking at, and if we're going to do Castle Grayskull, we only have really one shot, and it's going to take pre-orders. So look for more information in New York, and hopefully a B-sheet of kind of where we're going, and start saving those Eternian rubies, because hopefully for $200 by Christmas next year, maybe we'll all have a Castle Grayskull under that tree. So. That's Ruben on the inside. Ruben painted Clawful's green weapon in another shade of green for the weapons. I know, he's not here today, so I'm allowed to make fun of him a little bit. All right, so we're going to open it up. We should have quite a bit of time. Okay, we only have almost 20 whole minutes. So I think the best way to do this is to line up down the center. We have a microphone. We're going to take all questions. I can't answer shipping questions. I can't tell you why your product is going to a certain place at a certain time, but we can answer product and brand questions. And yeah, let's start it off. Point number one.
Well, thank you. Great reveals. My question was about some of the black plastic that's been used for some of the figures. I know you said something about being able to fix it on figures as early as maybe Decker. That's awesome. My question is about whether or not, does that mean that other figures might after Decker are possibly unfinished? Because I know like Eric and I had talked about like back at Comic-Con, if Ruben was here I could ask Ruben, but Natasha possibly having like silver paint apps in place of the light blue because it's a lot more accurate to what the cartoon intended and what the toy had, so she wouldn't look so close to Frosta in color scheme. And then in that note, how Frosta's white came out a little grayish, if Natasha would have like possibly that more brilliant white to it.
Okay, sorry, just so I understand. So the question is, can Natasha's colors be changed?
Yes, altered, yes.
Yeah.
Since there's time.
There is not time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much like, if you look in the case, you'll see we have Natasha, Ram-Man, Jitsu. They're much closer to production, and they're pretty much what you're getting.
Yeah, okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, this is the first time I've seen this particular room. I was at the last year's event, of course. I see you have toy-based recreations, and also some filmation recreations, like what you mentioned today.
Yes.
Now, I wrote The Greatest Show on Eternia, and I was wondering if you could get Giggles the Clown. You should, think about it, and I'm putting my vote.
He comes up on the boards quite a lot, but
Yeah.
usually as a figure as, my God, don't make this.
Yeah. Filmation could have gone in that direction if I stayed beyond that episode. Putting one vote in for Giggles the Clown.
Anyone else? Giggles the Clown?
Better than the scientist.
Some of the fans do that.
They could.
Yeah, I was just wondering when the battle ramp will come out.
After we sell out of Wind Raiders. Buy a Wind Raider. Yeah, it's going to be a little difficult to make another vehicle while we still have the current vehicle in stock. Honestly, the Wind Raider did not sell like the way Battle Cat or even Gygor sold. So, and one of the issues with vehicles, you see that we're talking about doing a pre-order for Castle Grayskull. Castle Grayskull is a lot more recognizable than a Wind Raider, or even a Battle Ram. I kind of use the litmus test. If you took a Castle Grayskull and you took a Battle Ram and you put them on a table in any major city, in really any country, more people are going to come up and say, oh, that's Castle Grayskull, than are going to come and say, oh, that's the Battle Ram. So that's kind of why, let's see how the castle does, because 100% tooled, complicated things are tough. So we tried the thing that's the most recognizable, is the biggest chance of selling, even though it's more expensive. If we double the minimum to do Castle Grayskull, Battle Ram I think is the next thing we try to do. So it's all up to fans to support the pre-sale.
I'm just wondering if you looked into getting the model kits reissued to go along with the Tiny Pullman.
The vintage model kits?
Yeah.
Those weren't produced by Mattel.
Oh, I realize that, but I'm just contacting the companies that did make it for them.
At this point, we haven't. Yeah, it's a cool idea. The chance of those molds existing still are probably slim to none. Just based on what Mattel still has. It's a cool idea. I'll contact Classic Media and ask them. No plans at this time. I'm gonna have like my go-to answers.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to possibly get Castle Grayskull. That's going to be awesome. Can you say what the pre-order number is supposed to be? Is that like a secret?
It's close to the quota that we had for the subscribers for 13. If every person who bought a subscription for 13 buys a Castle Grayskull, and I don't mean let's say someone bought 3 subscriptions and they'd have to buy 3 Castle Grayskulls, so that number is pretty close.
Okay.
So if we get everyone who bought a 2013 subscription buys a Castle Grayskull pre-order, we're going to be there. So there you go, guys. We can do it.
And then no chance of ever bringing back the 4 Horsemen, I think 2001 He-Man Skeletor sections. Anybody come bringing those back out? I don't know, 1 to 6.
Keep reading the bios. No plans at this time.
Okay, yes, thanks for the Castle Grayskull, that's awesome, and the price being reasonable, that's really helpful. And the Octavia, that's also awesome. You said something like maybe a month and a half ago or so that about one of the surprises for next year being perhaps something that I think, quote, would be a way to get more fan favorites. I'm just wondering if you can elaborate on that.
We'll be announcing that at New York Toy Fair. We gotta have something to say for New York. Come on, I just gave you Castle Grayskull.
We want more!
Any chance we can have like more Mattel crossovers between the brands, like say Koff, Mighty Max, Koff, and Masters, like is kind of not only being products of Masters, but kind of like celebrating Mattel in general. Like since Mighty Max is like kind of a big fantasy brand as well, I'd like to see the 6-inch Max come up, see fighting with He-Man.
6-inch Mighty Max. Who else wants to see that? All right, so you're gonna buy one, and you're gonna buy one. All right.
Hey Scott, how are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I just want to thank you for going to bat all those times against Mattel. I know you get a lot of grief. I've given you some on the forums. I just want to thank you.
You're the one.
No, but my question was on the Grayskull thing since you brought it up. When the con happens and they have the demo one to show, Are you guys thinking of opening additional orders at that time, or would it be you have to get in before it's even shown, or you miss out?
It's probably going to have to be, yeah, a pre-order with the B sheet only. What's going to happen, so just to go through the steps again. So we'll show the B sheet at New York, or I think it's called a control drawing. Is that the right term? Control drawing. And then we'll do the pre-orders. We'll have the pre-orders probably go for almost 2 or 3 months, probably through the end of the year, through the 31st of December. That's the window of the pre-order.
Right, I just thought maybe if you, I mean, let's say you get 100% by the time you need it, but then additional people want to jump in, you know, after you show it in February. Would it be possible for additional people to add on?
It's possible, but don't count on it.
Okay.
Like, if that's what you're waiting for, don't do that. But it might be, it all depends on, essentially, if we can lock in that minimum quota, then we will back out into an avail date and figure out what our cutoff is for when we have to tell the vendor what the quota is so they can buy raw materials and start costing it out.
Okay.
So we're so not there yet, because essentially management's like, look, we're not even going to give you the resources to start negotiating with the vendor or even sculpt or even do anything but take a pencil to a piece of paper.
We appreciate it though, because that's what we were even telling you, hey, just, you know, give us a price and we'll go for it, so let's see if we actually do. You know?
All right, I did.
All right.
Met you halfway.
Yeah.
Chris, I know the cast is going to be awesome. It's going to be sculpted by the 4 horsemen, so I don't need to see how it will work. My question is, will it be available for international customers? Will they be able to?
Yeah, it won't have electronics in it, so it'll ship worldwide.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we need you guys. We can't do this without international.
I was gonna ask the little mini He-Man figures you saw at San Diego Comic-Con,
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, are those gonna be made, or are they kind of like on the back burner because they're? You know...
We're still looking at it. Yeah, they actually wound up costing a lot more than we expected, and if the whole idea was to. Yeah, and the whole idea was to produce something that was a little less expensive, but they were coming out as much as a 6-inch. It was like, oh gosh. So we're still trying to figure it out. You know, do we offer them as a multi-pack, as singles? We love them. You know, we've talked to a few retailers, but we haven't really had the nibbles we needed. So
San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Maybe. You know, we're still trying to lock in what we're doing for 13 and 14 still off. So maybe.
Okay.
We like them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Is there any possibility of making characters after the movie license? Is there an update on that?
Do you about the 87 movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we do. So essentially, the answer, yeah, we do not have the rights to the 87 movie.
Is there any plans to try to get those rights or anything like that?
We've talked to Warner a few times, and it's not really a priority for them.
Not gonna
So
happen, huh?
I wouldn't. We just announced Castle Grayskull. We're going to get the 87 rights, and then people are going to say, well, when are you going to do the Brazilian comic from 1983 that had that Medusa woman in it? You know?
Yeah, thank you.
Work on that too.
That's a great idea.
Okay, so I'm mainly asking this because you say everyone at conventions are so nice compared to on the boards. Oh, there we go. And
That's true.
I understand it is no one who is currently up there on the stage, or whatever you would call that, at the moment, one who made the decision. But is it actually understood that Stinkor's forms being switched was flat out a mistake that messed up the anatomy of the figure? And was there any reprimand given at all? Or was it completely just, okay, you chose to do that, it's cool?
It kind of was the latter. Yeah, it's up to the design team to decide how to do it, and that's the way they wanted to go. Yeah. I mean, I know for us in this room, this is our hobby. And we're also passionate about it, and it's what we spend our spare money on. We take these figures out at night and set them up, and it's relaxing just to have them. When you're dealing with a line that's this small, like it means so much to us, and it's hard to kind of put those into terms when you're looking at this line has always been a square peg in a round hole. Mattel is not set up. They're set up to pump out blonde dolls and little fast die-cast cars, not to throw around any brand names. And is not set up to do extremely small run collector lines. And at the end of the day, not every figure. It's also not always easy to find a vendor who can do these, because vendors in Hong Kong and China, They want to make 1 million pieces of a little plastic bowl, you know, like a child's sippy cup. The same companies that make action figures make things like, you know, sippy cups and toothbrushes and anything made out of plastic. And they can produce millions, if not billions of them. To do a couple thousand is like, I mean, all that setup work. And they're all assembled by hand and hand painted. And, you know, I hate coming in front of people and saying that's the way it is, but we're so lucky to be even just getting these. And I know I kind of sound like I'm, you know, blowing my own horn here, but we are. You know, we're lucky to even be getting anything. And not that that justifies reversed arms or swapped legs or breaking legs or QC problems or cross-eyed stinkors or whatever, or spikers. You know, we do everything we can to make the best line we can with the resources we have. You know, it's not like, so.
Here, and I know it was a design choice, but I mean, I guess my big thing is that it messed up the sculpt, and as an artist who's worked with engineers and other people who then mess up what I've done and completely ruin something that is like I put a lot of work into. I know, at least to me, if I was one of the sculptors, I would be a bit insulted by something like that. So it's...
I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I mean, you know, yeah.
Basically, I just wanted to put this down so that it might get back to them and they might hear.
That, you know, I can tell you that there are some people in the audience that are on the design and engineering side. They're kind of just listening in, so they hear you. They may not be on the stage, but they're in this room. And maybe they're sitting next to you. Poke them with that Keldor sword.
It wasn't just to be a jerk or anything.
No, you know, guys, you have every right to be asking for these things. You know, coming back and saying, you know, Frost's gloves are supposed to be going this way, not that way, or Stinkor's arms should have been pointing out this way, not that. You have every right to ask for that, absolutely. And we do everything we can to deliver that. It breaks my heart too. I mean, especially, you know, things like Lobato that I had him sitting on my desk for 2 months and I never noticed his shoulders were swapped. I could have said something, but I thought, you know, I never looked at him that closely. You know, I should have. I hate using the whole, you know, make an omelet, break some eggs, but it's when you're making so few. You guys don't, I mean, this line is like tiny, like so tiny, but it means so much to all of us, and that's why we put everything in and we try to get every figure right, but not everyone is going to turn out right. You know, I don't know what else. I don't know.
You know, and also the process of getting these things out there and the amount of eyes that look at it and then the amount of hands it passes through, and it's in the scheduling and what have you, some of these things get lost. It's happened to me, I'm sure it's happened to Aaron to some extent. Ruben, everybody who's worked in this line or on other lines, things happen. It just happen, you know, and it's unfortunate, but when they happen at a certain point in the schedule, it's either do or die, and you either get it or you don't, you know, so it's up to you. Which would you prefer, not have it or have it?
Have it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was basically where we got to with the Frostas. You saw that picture. We had like 100 of them. We opened all of them to see if was it a small percentage, was it all of them, and we went to management. I mean, literally. I mean, you guys were in the room. Like, I was up there in front of VPs saying, I can't. What do I do about this? This is like another swapped part, but this one was beyond our control. And yeah, it was like, you know what? We could cancel the figure and don't do her at all, or you get her. You know, that's kind of where we are. It's like talking in circles, but.
My question sort of has two parts to it, but you know, as you've said in the past, that basically the cost of the product to the customer is eventually going to be what kind of kills the line. And I think the one area where Mattel can sort of affect that without affecting the product or affecting their bottom line is shipping. Combining shipping, like for a long time, kept me from subscribing. And I subscribe now, but I think you do lose customers and that cost goes to the post office.
Yeah, I will not disagree with you, and we are doing everything we can to find new and improved shipping methods. It's, you know, again, it's like square peg in a round hole. You know, you look at like American Girl or Hot Wheels Collector or Barbie Collector, and you know, they don't ship international. You know, one of the reasons we went with Digital River was because of that. You know, because a good chunk of our business is international. If you're a Hot Wheels Collector and you want to ship to outside the U.S., you need to find a pen pal in the U.S. to buy the product for you and then ship it to you. I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
We are actively trying to find a better solution every day. I mean,
Well,
that's, you know.
I think, probably everyone in this room is committed to the product, but you're losing people by not getting the combined shipping thing going. Like, it's been several years, and it just needs to kind of happen, like whatever resources it takes.
Are you talking about combining day of with your subscription?
Exactly.
That one, yeah, we've been down the road with Digital River on that one, and it's just the way it's set up. That's less like, we're trying. We're trying to find a way to get, we're not exploring that.
It just seems like it'd be so worth the resources.
And we're putting everything we have to it, yeah. It's like, when your resources are this big, and the problem is this big, it's like the more you throw a stone into a fire, like.
Absolutely, yeah.
But we are, I can tell you, you guys at home and you guys here, we are absolutely aware of that issue, and we're doing everything we can. And I always hate falling back on this one, like I said a minute ago, but it's like we're so lucky to even be getting this at all. Take away the QC problems and the shipping problems, and, at the end of the day, we're getting new Masters of the Universe characters every month. Remember what it was like back in 2006 and 2007, when there were nothing? Not that justifies it, but right now we're doing the best we can with what we have, and we're constantly, I'm begging management for resources every week. I go there and I do, how do you think we're getting Castle Grayskull made? It's like we make these pitches, we ask for more resources for shipping, better quality control, and they give us everything they can.
Sort of an attachment to that is that in the state of California, which we both live in, if you charge shipping and handling as a separate piece, and you're not like a mattress company that hand delivers it by your own truck, and you actually charge it as a separate item, you're not supposed to charge tax for it. And it's not a big deal, but that's like $1 a month that doesn't help Mattel, it doesn't help your customers. And it doesn't affect me wanting to subscribe, but somebody's making that decision. That $1 a month.
I think some of that has to do with the logistics of the way Digital River is set up and the way the cart works.
But it'd just be a line of code to change.
It's not just a line, it's also like there's some contractual obligations and stuff, but let me bring that back to the team.
I think every dollar helps.
Yeah. I would like, actually, what about this? I had some notes to bring, but I forgot. Would you guys be, now right in 2013, the figures are going to be $25 a figure. Would you be willing to pay $30 if shipping was free?
Yes.
What was that? Well, I think you'd still, there might still be tax. If it was between $30 and $35, done out the door, no other charges, that included shipping.
What kind of shipping?
Pony Express. All right, let's what's a good? Who's that good shit? Like Amazon, okay? Let's say we ship these through Amazon. I'm making this up, just because Amazon's a big, they think they ship everything over $25 free or something like that.
Yeah.
If Motu was shipped like that, would you be willing to pay, $30 to $35 a figure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. We're, like I said, we're exploring every out-of-the-box possible scenario to get shipping down, costs down, and more figures to you. And we still got 7 minutes. Okay.
Hi, my question is about the Castle Grayskull. Could you tell us a little bit more if it's going to open and close, and what are some of the fun? Is it going to have any fun features like the classic one?
We won't really know that until New York because we're still getting it together. But the idea is to basically do what the vintage playset did. Yeah, open and close like that. But it could completely change. We'll know more in New York.
A lot of the stuff that was asked before, my brother asked this question. My question is actually about, one, we already got 2 figures of you, we got 3 figures of the other horsemen. I know concept figures are kind of like, but it would be kind of cool to get an actual 4 horsemen action figures.
You don't have the Corn Boy McFarlane figure?
I do actually. I own it.
Was it Dr. Frankenstein set that I think Jim's floating head is in there?
But in classic.
We actually talked about maybe some of the Fighting Foemen doing something like that. It's going to come down to slots. Would you rather have,
No,
antenna
oh, sorry,
and
Eric,
tube
Mermista.
band.
No, Mermista.
What?
Sorry, Eric. Mermista, yeah.
Yeah, like would you rather have Mermista or would you rather have a night with Eric's head?
Sorry, Eric. No, and then the other thing is, because of the dialogue talking about the shipping and stuff, a lot of the questions that you asked, those would be really neat if you like were able to update MattyCollector.com with like a fan poll, like always like on the side with like an updating poll. Like, would you pay for this? A lot of this dialogue was really cool. It'd be cool to see that kind of like weekly or monthly, like throwing that spaghetti against the wall, like via.
Have you been to the Matty Asks
I
You thread?
have. But I just feel like if there was more of that instead of having to search it out.
Like if it was in a more prominent. We're also trying to redesign the site. I mean, it looks like it was made in 1992. I mean, you know, no one's pretending. But again, it's like we'd rather put more resources into the toys,
right?
You know, than try to like redesign the whole site because it's expensive to do this stuff, and we're running on spit and wax. So, but so noted.
No, okay, thanks.
First off, thank you for the reveals today. Those were very awesome. As far as the issue with the black plastic, I know that's been kind of a big, topic. Do you know, is it the paint being applied to the black plastic, or is it the black plastic itself that is rejecting the paint? I mean, that's never really been explained. I know you guys are changing it with Decker, but what's the issue with that?
Sure, I'll try to give an answer here. So, what it is so in 2012, the figures really should be $25. We're charging $20 because we were locked into that price when we sold the subscription in. So we knew we couldn't increase the price. We did that in 2013, so we wouldn't have to do cost-reducing measures like removing deco or accessories. One of the things that we tried was, because so many figures use common parts, like, let's say, He-Man's chest, right? He-Man's chest is used on Fangman and Decker and King Randor, tons of figures. So I believe, if Design and Engineering explained this correctly to me, and I'm remembering right, they had the vendor run all the pieces for let's say He-Man's chest was being used in 5 upcoming figures. They had them run them all at the same time, as opposed to let's say each figure is produced at 10 units, just for the sake of using a number. So instead of running 10 He-Man chests now, and having to run 10 more in 2 months when we get to the next figure that uses that shared part, they ran all of them for 6 months at the same time and held on to them. It was a cost-saving measure. And they, I believe, did it in black because black was the most neutral base color that they could, because it's easiest to cover. At least I think I'm explaining this correct. Again, I'm not the engineer, so I could be screwing this up. Then on top of that, there were issues where the paint was not drying fast enough, which was a separate issue. So almost if the paint issue wasn't happening, then you wouldn't have even known that there was black plastic under there.
Because you wouldn't plan ahead to use plastic that would reject paint, obviously.
Of course not, yeah.
So I guess my thought was, why would it matter what color of plastic is underneath? It would, if it's going to reject the paint, it's going to reject the paint, regardless of the color. So I just was trying to figure out, why the big to-do about the black plastic, and why is that going to change anything by removing it, as far as the paint issue?
I mean, the bottom line is we've heard fans loud and clear, and the visual examples help the best. We always need visual examples. A discussion or a poll or, that kind of thing doesn't really help, because we can't go to our vendor and say, hey, look, 500 people have posted and said they don't like black plastic, but it's really the same 25 people posting over and over again.
But will removing the black plastic change anything with the paint issue? I guess is really what it.
They're two separate issues. So, one, we're going to try to stop using black plastic as a base, and 2, we're going back to our vendor to find a new paint drying method kind of thing. Again, I'm not an engineer and I'm explaining this terribly, but so it's two. What people have combined in posts and in their online as one issue is actually 2 different issues. And we've addressed both of them, so they won't repeat.
Okay, that's all I really wanted to know. Thank
you.
you.
And there you go, and knowing is half the battle. Oh, okay, I'm getting I got a cut. So, guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to do some autograph sessions, pick up your swords. Castle Grayskull, more information to come, and, good journey.